So chances are while you're playing a game, you listen to your own music, especially if it's a sandbox game or a multiplayer game. At the same time, if you ever stream or do gameplay videos, you also probably play a lot of these types of games. Problem is, you can't stream or record copyrighted music. Sure, you could limit yourself to random keygen chiptunes or SoundCloud songs with Creative Commons licensing and put a now playing thing in the video. But what if I told you that I have a solution that not only allows you to listen to your music while playing, but also keeps it silent for the recording? Because I do. Your first thought might be just listening to music with headphones while playing the game through speakers. Well, if you're doing that, you're already failing to heed the basic game recording edict of using headphones. Use headphones. Your other thought might be wearing two pairs of headphones, one with music, the other with the game. Or maybe you didn't because that's retarded and painful. I would know. I used to do it. No, both of these solutions, while functional, are much worse than mine, which only uses one pair of headphones and a bunch of cables. Here are the items I use to accomplish this in my own situation, which is recording and playing music from the same computer. After I tell you the setup, I'll try to help you adapt it to your own situation. One is two sound sources. This can be a USB sound card and your main sound card if you're playing on PC, or your game console and an MP3 player if you're on a console. You can't play music off your Xbox 360 hard drive or something like that. You have to have two separate audio jacks to use. 2, a headphone splitter. 3, a 3.5mm audio cable coupler. Usually looks like a little tube with two female headphone jacks on it. 4, headphones. Duh. 5, a ground loop isolator. More on that later. 6, all the cables required to wire everything above together. I'm really not sure what to call all of them, and chances are your situation will be different, so I don't really see the point in naming them off. How do this? Well, I run my microphone's output, which is a USB sound card basically, to one female jack on the headphone splitter by using a double male-ended headphone cable, or 3.5mm cable if you prefer. Then I run the headphone jack on my keyboard, which is plugged into the main stereo output jack on the back of my computer, into the ground loop isolator, and then into the other female jack on the headphone splitter. From there, I use the 3.5mm audio coupler to hook together the male part of the headphone splitter and the headphones. I have Winamp, my audio player, output to my microphone, and I have everything else output through my speakers, both of which just go right into my headphones. And that's it. So before I go any further, you're probably wondering what the hell a ground loop isolator is and why it's important. Well, without it, I'd hear a constant buzzing noise. It's a very slight buzzing noise created by the electrical connection in the computer interacting with the sound card in the computer. It's something most often experienced in poorly grounded audio equipment, or if you play guitar, you'll often hear it coming from guitar amps. I don't entirely understand it. All I know is that it's really annoying. You do not always need a ground loop isolator, and it should only be used if you need it because it cripples the audio output and makes you turn your sound way up, which can be annoying to have to deal with when you aren't recording. So I've covered my situation, but what about yours? Well, since I can't exactly tell what you have going on, here are some guidelines. First off, just look everything over. See how all your cables fit together right now. Now, at the very least, you're going to need that headphone splitter and coupler. You then need to figure out how you're going to attach your two audio devices to that coupler. If you're using an Xbox 360 and you're outputting to your TV via HDMI, you're going to need to either use the audio output on your TV if it has them, or use the Xbox's separate audio output plug that should have come with your console. It looks like the component composite cable, but instead has jacks for RCA red and white cables and an optical out plug. If you're using composite or component output for some reason and don't have a TV with audio out, just stay tuned, I have a solution for you. If you're using a PS3, then you're going to have to use the PS3's separate audio device output feature and plug a cable into the AV output slot to get standard RCA output, or use your TV's audio out again if you don't have it. If you already are using component or composite and you don't have a TV with audio out, don't worry, I still have a solution for you. Any other console, it's the same thing. TV's audio out if you have it, otherwise here's the alternative. If you don't have a way of outputting your game's audio besides a TV speaker, don't worry, because I've got a solution. You need an RCA coupler with at least two inputs and outputs and a 3.5mm to RCA conversion cable. Simply hook them all together and you've got your console running into a headphone jack. I'm not sure what other situations you might run into, but the basic idea is to get those two audio sources into your headphones using whatever means necessary. And a word of advice, use as few cables as possible. Every section you add on makes the connection weaker and makes the audio worse. Another suggestion, get a pair of headphones with a volume knob if you have to run the audio direct from your game console. Otherwise, you're either going to blow out your headphones or your ears, or both. I mean, you could connect a potentiometer into your headphones to make a volume knob if you really like your headphones, but don't do that. This honestly works best in an all-PC setup. You'd have volume controls for everything, but I figured that I'd include some hypotheticals for console players since they do exist. I just can't guarantee that it'll work out well. Anyway, I hope this was helpful and that I didn't ramble on too much. Just figured that I'd share this since it is something that's nice to have around and I do use it quite often during my streams.